Hi everybody, welcome to week 11 of our English 1020 online course. This week we're finishing up our researched argument essays. So one of the things I'm sure you guys have noticed so far is that in this assignment we're really going to focus on a formal academic tone to our writing. So this week, getting your shitty first draft done, getting feedback on your draft, doing some really specific revisions to word choice, sentence structure, and organization of your paper. These are all things that are going to help your academic voice to be strong and clear in this paper. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about our week's activities. I'm going to go through 3 tips that I have to help you guys work through your essays to get them polished and really strong. And I think that'll do it. Just a few announcements at the end. So let me head over to our Canvas page and we'll get started. All right, so here we are in week 11. Can you guys believe it? We're at week 11 already. Oh my gosh. All right, so this week we're revising, getting feedback on, and polishing our academic researched argument. In terms of what you want to watch this week, there's only 2 videos, okay? So watch your week 11 video, which you're already doing. High five. And this is my first tip for revision. The little vid this week is all about 12 common mistakes that students make when they're writing in an academic tone. So, tip number 1 for your revisions, watch this video with your paper out. Like maybe have the file open, or maybe even better, print out your draft and have it next to you while you're watching this video and pause it. As she goes through all of the common mistakes, pause the video and read through your own paper to see if you're making that little mistake anywhere in your paper. Then watch the next one, pause it, go through your own paper. You'd be amazed and maybe a little bit surprised at what you can find when you really are scouring for one thing at a time. Sometimes for me, it gets overwhelming if somebody just slides a paper that I've written back across to me and says, revise this. That's very vague, right? But if you're like doing a real targeted search and destroy kind of thing, right? So you're looking for maybe just contractions, or maybe you're looking for just anywhere that you're using personal pronouns. That can really help you be focused and targeted. And plus it feels really great to like check those items off. So there's a good tip as you're revising. Watch that little vid and use it. In terms of reading this week, you really are just reading drafts. And if there's any more sources that you need to find, remember there's a bigger total number. You have your sources that you used in your iSearch, which you are more than welcome to use in this paper if it's useful to you. But you also needed to find 4 additional sources. Now, working through those 2 annotated bib assignments in the past 2 weeks probably helped you get going on your search, but maybe writing those annotated bibs helped you discover, this source is okay, but it's not the greatest. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is if you need to continue to be searching, finding, evaluating sources, keep doing that. Please read your classmates' drafts, and at the very end, once you've got everything turned in, you want to read through our Project 3B assignment description, because we're going to mix it up. We're remixing this argument paper into a visual, but that'll come next week. I'll talk more about that in next week's video. So that's what you want to read this week. Writing, of course, generating your shitty first draft if you haven't already. You're going to write comments on classmates' drafts and revise and polish up. So our week looks like this. By Wednesday, you want to have watched this video. And there's no formal reading assignments, but you need to be writing your shitty first draft. If you want to have a conference with me, I haven't received any requests for conferences yet. But if you do want to have a conference with me, I'm more than happy to meet with you guys. This Thursday, I want to announce that I will not be in my physical office. So if you do want a conference with me this week, it's going to have to be via Skype. So no problem. We can make that happen. Easy peasy. But if you do want a conference, shoot me an email and we'll set up a Skype appointment. Okay? Now, by Friday, you want to be reading over your classmates' drafts. So don't forget, you got to post your draft to the discussion thread. Then step 2 is giving each other comments. And here I'm really looking for thorough, detailed comments using all orders of concern. Higher order concerns that are big picture stuff, middle order concerns, paragraph level things, use of sources, use of those quote sandwiches, lower order concerns, punctuation, citations, if you feel comfortable. Remember, don't force it if you feel like you're not super strong in lower order concerns yourself, but do make sure that you're noting for your friends where things feel or sound a little awkward in their papers, and they can look it up on their own. And then by Sunday, we're polishing up. We are finishing our drafts, making sure that they're very strong. Remember here, in our rhetorical situation, you're the author, the rhetor. I'm not the audience, right? We are trying to write these papers for publication. So you're imagining, or maybe you will actually do this, which would be really cool, sending this paper out to an undergraduate research journal for publication. That's the level that we're trying to get to. So this gets to my second revision strategy, which is you guys have been reading a lot of published scholarship around your topic. Look at the tone and the sentence structure and how these other writers are presenting the knowledge to you. See what you can take from these scholarly sources, because that will help you as you're developing your own scholarly voice. If you're feeling like, oh man, I don't even know where to start with some of these sources that I've found, you can feel free to head back up to the sample papers. Remember, we annotated a sample undergraduate research paper, right? So if you're reading these scholarly sources and you're thinking, oh man, this is just way too extra, look at the undergrads who've been writing for publication. We annotated those earlier in this project, and you can look at how those other students have been structuring their sentences, choosing their words, and that can help guide you as you revise your paper for a very formal academic audience. Okay, so I'm going to close this up and I'm going to give you one more revision strategy, and then we'll bring our video to a close. Okay, so lots of polishing this week, lots of revision. My third strategy for revision for you guys this week is actually hearkening back to a strategy we used for our iSearch essays, and that is revising by reading aloud. So we did this as like a formal digital journal project. You guys read your papers aloud last project and kind of thought through the article that was talking about that. You can do that anytime, right? You can read this paper aloud. Excuse me. You know what, though, can be really helpful? Because I know sometimes when I read my own writing aloud, it just sounds good to me because I'm reading it and I know the tone that I meant when I wrote it. It can be really challenging, but really helpful to have a friend or a family member read your paper out loud to you. And I'll tell you why. First of all, you kind of circumvent your own good reading of your own writing, right? So, like, you can't put the right emphasis on the words that you meant. You really get to hear how another reader, not yourself, is reading the words. Maybe they do put the right emphasis where you wanted them to. That's a great sign. That means you've punctuated correctly and you've phrased things in a way that are really translatable to readers. However, if your outside reader is reading aloud and they're stumbling, or they sound like they're rushing through, or they get stuck somewhere, that's a good signal for you, the writer, that that's a place to revise. Because even if it makes sense in your brain, it's not translating for your readers. So revise by reading aloud, either by yourself or with a partner. Have somebody else read your paper out loud to you. You take notes, or you have the file open and also have them reading it, or something like that, where you can be making changes as you hear it from somebody else. Second revision strategy is to look at the tone and sentence structure of the samples that we've been working with, either the sources that you've been finding and reading, or you can feel free to look through all of those sample papers that we have posted to Canvas. I mean, that's a big ask, but maybe pick 2 or 3 and kind of see what translates across all of those sample papers. That can really help you model and find where you want to be with your academic voice. And the third revision strategy is, of course, look at the little vid from this week, going through and pausing it at each common error to search through your own paper to see if you're making that particular error. So those are my 3 strategies for revision. I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope everyone who's eligible can get out and vote today. This is Tuesday. You'll probably be watching this on Wednesday, so good for you if you got out and voted. I hope that everyone is staying pretty warm and dry this week. If you have any questions, of course, please email me. Please take note of Rayanne's change in office hours. She's really trying to accommodate everyone who wants to come see her. So if you have a time or a suggestion for her moving her office hours, let her know. Also, she's available on GroupMe and via email. I'm, of course, available via email, and we can set up a Skype appointment. Oh, one last note. This week, I'm finishing grading your Project 2s. So I apologize for any frustration that my very slow, careful, methodical, slow grading process is causing anyone. But today, tomorrow, and Thursday are my days to finish grading those iSearch papers. So keep your eye out. Remember, I do fill out the rubric with comments, and I also put comments in your draft. So if you want to see all of my feedback, you're going to have to open up Project 2 to see where I've put comments in the paper, and open up the rubric to see the comments that I place in the rubric. Okay, guys. That's all I have for you today. Have a great week and happy revising.